I wanted to kind of get into a conversation with you about like this offseason, like what the Pistons could possibly do. What's kind of like your mindset? Do you think they'll do like a small marginal moves like they've done the past couple of off seasons? Maybe a semi free agency splash, maybe a trade, or do you think they'll kind of go the big fish hunting like all the names that we've heard like Kawhi, Kyrie, Trey Murphy?
Yeah. So when I was listening to the Trajan presser after the season, that did not sound like a person who was like ready to throw in a bunch of picks to try and get
Yeah.
like Trey Murphy. And so I do think they'll make some unsatisfying but solid moves on the edges. I do wonder about like how there are different levels of unsatisfying, right? Like if you arrange your signings in such a way that you get like the full non-tax player mid-level, you can actually get like a pretty quality player with that. And then it's like, okay, you Tobias wants to be back. I think it'd be good to bring Tobias back, but like at what number, right? Because maybe I'm looking at the Bulls as like one of the few teams with cap space who like may have a desire to be good, or at least to take a look at the bottom of the Eastern Conference and say to themselves like, oh, like if we wanted to push the accelerator, we could. And he could fulfill a similar type of role in Detroit of like, hey, veteran presence, like organizational, like steadfast player, like give them a solid baseline. And they might be willing to pay him a little bit more than we'd be willing to, or it might be convenient for us to do in order to make that happen. Just things like that. But I do think they don't. Like, I don't think you're going to get Trey Murphy. I don't think you're getting Laurie Markkinen. I have a pet sign and trade that I don't think will happen that we can talk about, but that like I'm not worried about. Like I don't think you're going to get Tyler Hero, for example. Like just anybody who like more casual fans of like, oh, like that guy's a like 20-point per game scorer. Like you're probably not getting him, and that's okay. That's okay. They won 60 games last year. I think if they win 50 and shore up the bench lineups and come into the season with like a plan more than Tobias at the 4, I think they'll be fine.
I could totally see them kind of like running it back in a sense with like Tobias and maybe you bring Dana's back and like I could totally see them saying like, hey, Dean Wade, come on down. We need a
Yeah,
backup power
yeah,
forward. Like I could totally see like under the radar moves, maybe have a reunion with a Tim Hardaway Jr. because he was just like so good for the Nuggets last year. Like
mm-hmm.
I really felt like when we had Tim and Beasley, like we had two shooters. Like if one guy didn't have it one night, on most nights it seemed like someone was making threes.
Yeah,
Like this year, we really didn't have that. Like Duncan just had to at least make 3 or 4 threes just to kind of give us a chance to, stay in these games and win these games. It felt like from a sense, but I could totally see them being just like very marginal. I'd be really shocked if like draft night we get Kyrie Irving or to your point, Laurie Markkinen because we've heard in past like what Danny Age wants for Laurie. It's like starts at a SAR and we're probably hanging up the phone. It's like, yeah, we're we're
yeah,
we're, we're good. We're good at there. We're good there.
precisely.
But I mean,
Yeah,
it'll be interesting what they like try to do. I'm just like I feel like they could go semi big move, but they could also just like be really small. Like semi big move to me, maybe you kind of see what's going on with Peyton Watson, possibly.
it does seem like Denver is not willing to
Yeah.
pay all of their guys. So they need somebody to take Christian Brown in order to like pay Peyton Watson. I do. Peyton Watson is dating Jordan Woods' younger sister, I think, if I
Hmm.
remember that correctly. And like it's Hollywood stuff, so I don't even know if that's still the case. But that always made my like eyeballs go up. And it's like, and the Lakers have cap space. It's like, and he'd be really good for them. And it's like, he's dating Woods. Like, maybe he wants the limelight. Maybe he'd be willing to take like a little bit less to go play in LA. And we know guys are willing to do that. So I've already kind of like mentally like shunted him into there. But I've seen a lot more people like notice that as the Denver's doing things in with their cap machinations. It's like maybe they get Cam Johnson as a cost cutting measure or something, right? Like, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, my only thing with him is like I don't know how many games I'm gonna get.
Yeah,
Um, I
yeah.
know it might have been a few seasons ago where he was actually relatively healthy. But I felt like he really struggled in his role in Denver. Like it wasn't the same role in Brooklyn, which probably a big adjustment period from playing from like a team that was like really low in the standings in the East to playing for a Western Conference playoff team.
Mhm.
And he's always spoken really highly of Cade and the Pistons and kind of talked about his game and why he felt like Cade's game could complement his. Maybe you have him as like a backup power forward or maybe a starting power forward. I don't really know what Tobias wants to do and how many games he'll hold up because I felt like this was the first year where like he actually had like more injuries than he did his first year with us.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I think it's like Cam and Tobias would make like a nice pairing, right? You could lean on one instead of having to lean on both of them. I think who was talking about this? Like, was it like the Low Post, the whatever the Zach Lowe show is now?
Mhm.
It's talking a little bit about how Cam Johnson had to play without the ball in his hands in Denver, just because there's a lot more dudes with the ball in their hands, and how he
Yeah.
had to like adjust from that, and like maybe if he got to be more in rhythm, get more shots, get more drives, that he'd be a more effective player. I think there's definitely like something to that, but I also don't think that like you mentioned, availability is always like a really big concern with Cam Johnson. And then perhaps like if you're giving him the ball more, would that tax him? Would that like make it worse? So it's something you got to consider for sure.
Someone on Facebook said Jeremy Grant reunion. I'm not opposed to that, but
Jeremy makes a lot of money, like a
yeah,
lot.
that's where I'm at too. Like to me, like I think like even though he's not like a big name, that to me would kind of be like a big move
Mhm.
because he kind of makes like the tier of players that you would consider a big move, even though he's just not like a sexy name for a lot of Pistons fans. I wouldn't be opposed to it, but like
Yeah.
he'd have to move some pieces to probably make it work financially.
So what do you think of John Collins? Is that like a big name for you? Is that a big move?
Man, I've been wanting John Collins since Atlanta, and I've seen so many Pistons fans like I love Keith. Shout out to Keith. Like every time I mention John Collins, he's like terrible defender. You don't want him. I was like, bro, like I don't care about the defense. I want to stretch forward. Like I want someone that's like kind of like a bouncy power forward. Like, could you imagine like the lobs that Cade is gonna throw him like in the front
Mhm.
court? Like I
Mhm.
would love that.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on him just because I think there's a world in where you could actually like get him for the non-taxpayer MLE, and like if you could somehow like get him and Tobias, like that would be like a really good pairing, right? Because then you could play Collins at the five in like some lineups, which means you can play him and Harris together. If you play him at the five, all of a sudden like you have like a quote unquote like spacing five, something we've
Mhm.
really been looking forward next to Cade. So you could play Asar in lineups with like Asar is the only like non-shooter, another like thing that the team has been trying to unlock forever. So yeah, I've been interested in John Collins for sure. That's like one of the names like higher on my list.
Yeah, I go back and forth with like him and then like Rui Hachimura, which I think Rui would make more sense in like a half court setting. I don't know if
Mhm.
like he could be. I'm not saying like he's like out of shape by any means, but like I don't know if he's the type of athlete that could like be running and keeping up with like a Sar and K, just like running up and down the court.
Yeah, Rui doesn't like talking about Keith. Like Keith would like hate Rui. Like Rui's a really bad defender. Like a truly like noticeably bad defender. But big time playoff riser, shoots consistently really well from three in the playoffs. I mean, it probably helps that he's getting fed by LeBron James and Luka Doncic for a bunch of that, but still, just another guy I think would be interesting, but I do think he probably is looking for like a payday, right? He's probably looking for somewhere in the like the Cam Johnson like 25 to like 28 range. And
Yeah, I know
we don't have that much money. We can't do it.
Rob's got probably one of my favorite players that I wanted the Pistons to trade for on Facebook, Bobby Portis. Like I'd love a Bobby Portis. The only thing is, like, I don't know if him and Stu could be in the same locker room together.
Bobby's getting older. The Bobby Portis like 4 years ago would be perfect.
Yeah.
Bobby Portis of today is not nearly as good a like defender and rebounder as he used to be. And so I do
Yeah.
think that like it might just be like a little bit too late on that one. But
The three,
not a bad. If Milwaukee's tearing everything down, they're holding a fire sale. You get them for like Sasser and like a second round pick or something. Like sure, why not?
yeah, the 3-point shooting this year surprised me because like when I was looking like at his percentages, I was like, wow, he's shooting like high 40s from three. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, why isn't nobody talking about this? It's just like Giannis is unhappy. Bobby Portis is almost shooting 45% from three. Like, oh, like what are we doing, NBA? Like, what are we doing, man? But yeah, I mean, I feel like Bobby is just kind of like a culture fit. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like he would just fit into the Detroit space for sure. But uh, again, I think there's a lot of pathways that the Pistons are going to take. I could totally see it just being very small moves
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the fan base
Not
having the
all stars, right?
no, yeah, like I feel like a lot of the players that are talked about are very expensive, and like you're talking about, like either moving off of Duran or deciding to move off a Sar or possibly even Ron, in my opinion, anyways. And not to say that I wouldn't be opposed to trying to make a splash. I just kind of wonder a lot of the guys that are available the kind of like I don't want to say they're past their primes, but I kind of worry about like how long could they actually hold up? Like how
Yeah,
long could a Kawhi Leonard hold up? Like he played
yeah.
65 games this year, like he could play 35 going into this season.
And
And
like played 65 because he's where he wants to be. If
yeah.
he's somewhere he doesn't want to be, how motivated can you get that guy to play if something does happen, right? Like I don't think like Kawhi's a great player. I don't know if he's what the Pistons would be looking for.
I feel like they're kind of looking for a guy between like 26 and 27 they could grow with, and that's kind of like
Yeah,
Trey Murphy, but like
yeah,
I feel like his asking price is so high that like if the Pelicans get it, like if they get like Jalen Brown offered on their their table, they probably take it. I would assume because it doesn't look like they're going to rebuild, especially with the ownership down there. They're talking to some Pelican guys, like they're like, yeah, there's no way they're going to go rebuild. They're just going to try to compete in a really stacked Western Conference. So I mean, if they're willing to give up Jalen Brown, like the conversation probably starts with the SAR. I would assume.
yeah. And that's not a trade I would really want to make. Um, I I think Asar is just like so fundamentally important to this team's identity in a way that makes him like functionally untradeable for me. Like, do I hope he gets better offensively? Like, yes. Like, do I like see the like club 520 guys like making fun of the fact that like he won't shoot 10 footers? Like, yes. But like, I don't know, man. Like I go to these games, like I have pretty good seats. Like you see what he's able to do on a basketball court, and it's from even if it's only on defense, like quote unquote, like only on defense, it's still just like so far beyond what other people are capable of. And like these are other NBA athletes. So he just can't he's irreplaceable, right? There's no if you they made you pick between like Asar and Duran, right? Like there are other centers who can give you like 80% of what like Jalen Duran does for this team. There are not too many guys who can give you like 80% of what Asar does defensively. Uh, like there
Yeah.
just aren't.
Yeah, it's the conversation I was having last week of like who's more important as like the I know a lot of people like having like rankings of like having Cade's up here, and I was like
Mhm.
Asar's right here. Asar's like right under Cade in terms of this like most important Pistons to me because I
Yeah,
feel like if you don't have Asar, you probably don't have a top five defense in the NBA.
yeah,
You just don't.
yeah,
He's just too important, and the fact that he was like what third in defensive player of the year already, like his first healthy offseason and season, like he's only going to get better, like technique wise. So I feel like he gets away like a lot with his just his athleticism. Like if he gets like more technical sound defensively, like you're just talking about an absolute monster.
yeah. I mean, like Tumani Kamara made all defense last year, is like a really, really, really good on ball defender, like big event creator, like lots of steals. And like you if you traded Asar for Tumani Kamara, like straight up, like you don't have a top five defense, right? You just don't.